intuition is already telling you no, and your bank account is telling you yes. Uh, Hi, we're on Facebook and we're also on Instagram and YouTube. So this live is about when your intuition is telling you no when it comes to a doomsday client that you've attracted, yet your bank account is telling you yes. And I have been here. You may see little people walking around. Those are my children. Go ahead, sweetheart. Thank you. Um, so story back in 2021, 2022, I was very much strapped for money. I was in the stages of my business where things just weren't moving forward. So I had attracted a client on one of my social platforms, and my intuition was already telling me something's just not quite right with this particular person. Yet my heart was telling me, you got no, well, I shouldn't say my heart because my heart is actually connected to my intuition. I should say my bank account was telling me that I have bills to pay. I had children to take care of. I had a lack mentality. And because of that, it made me feel like I didn't have a lot of options and that I needed to take on this particular client, even though my intuition was telling me that something wasn't right. So I take on this client, and this client gets instant results the first session that we have, and they're like, wow, I never knew that my body could do these things. Like they were enjoying the results that they had in their one session with me, mind you. And then they started to look for all the things that were wrong with my business, and I was very forthright in my opinion. I told them that, hey, I'm in the rebuilding stages of my platforms. I'm still very much so in the rebuilding stages of my platforms, actually. But it's especially during that particular point in my life and in my business. And they just started looking for all the issues that were wrong with me in my business. And then all of a sudden they're like, I want my money back. And then I'm like, okay, fine, take your money, and blocking on all my channels. And I'm saying this to say, how often do we discount our feelings, right? Because of what's going on in our lives, because we're feeling like we're not enough to attract the high quality clients that we want to serve and are excited about serving. How often are we allowing lack to make our decisions for us? How often are we allowing ourselves to override our intuition and gut feelings with logic and perhaps money, right? Money being the motivation. So we're going to go into that today. And also, make sure that you sign up for my Reclaim Your Radiance workshop. It is going to be tomorrow, March 18 through March 19, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. PT. So click on the link that will be in the comments, and then you can register for the workshop and receive the workbook that you'll use tomorrow. So let's get back into it. So I learned a tough lesson in not allowing the lack and my temporary circumstances to decide whether or not I was going to work with someone. I couldn't allow that to ever be the case again, because not only did I second guess my worth, but I doubted that I was able to attract high quality clients into my space because of the temporary circumstance of lack that I was in. And in second guessing my gut feelings and allowing the anxiety to determine who I worked with, I had a terrible experience myself, because I actually gave away services for free, now that I'm saying that out loud. So if this has also happened to you, where you have attracted someone that wasn't a right fit, yet you still signed them on because of a temporary circumstance that you were in, I invite you to ask yourself how else this has shown up in your life, how else you have not trusted your intuition or gut feelings, and how else this has shown up in your business. So do you override your intuition? Do you override your gut feelings with logic and allow that to determine how you make decisions in your business, where perhaps you've overstayed your welcome in opportunities or overstayed your welcome in relationships, and you're convinced because of your temporary circumstance that you needed it, right? And it ended up costing you your mental health. It ended up costing you time with your family, time with your loved ones. Perhaps it even costed you your life force energy where you weren't even taking care of yourself sufficiently. And I'm asking you this because I have been there. I know how that feels. And I want you to know that you can find a way to still embody the energy of trust, because those are signs that you don't trust yourself. Because if you knew and trusted yourself that you would attract high quality leads and that you would sign people on to work with you that actually made you feel excited to work with, you wouldn't do that, right? So it's not only that you didn't trust yourself, but you also had this perhaps fear of looking like an imposter, right? And fear that you weren't enough, and fear that you weren't capable of attracting the high quality clients that you wanted into your orbit. So, one of the ways that we'll be working on in the Reclaim Your Radiance workshop of learning how to trust ourselves is knowing how to identify our own self sabotaging patterns and healing those patterns. So, one of these patterns that come up for me is people pleasing. People pleasing is absolutely a self sabotaging pattern because it involves you allowing others' emotions and and thoughts, perhaps even about you or a situation, to carry more weight than the thoughts and feelings that you have. And in doing that, you're outsourcing your value to someone or something else and diminishing your own value, diminishing your own worth. And it may cause you to take actions that actually go against a decision that you would have made in your business or for yourself had you trusted yourself. So I ask you to ask yourself this, and I like to intertwine different religions into my space when it comes to healing. I believe wisdom comes from multiple places. So in Galatians 1:10, Paul says, "Am I now seeking the approval of men or of God?" So when we don't have the connection to source, to God within ourselves, we often outsource our value and seek validation from others, right? And it's important to realize that we have to be in tune with ourselves. We have to find centering in ourselves first. And everything else outside of that is really just a confirmation for what we already know within ourselves, from what we already have confirmed within ourselves. Those things are just extra brownie points, if anything. So I ask you to ask yourself too, if you have been saying affirmations and mantras about signing on clients that make you feel really good about getting onto Zoom, and you're like excited to be with that person, you're excited to talk with that person, you're excited to coach with that person. Perhaps you're saying affirmations and mantras that say, I have high quality leads that pay me in full, or I have high quality people that I serve and I'm excited to serve. I work with celebrities, things of that nature. Are you telling yourself words that you actually believe are true? And I'm saying this to say you can say a lot of words to yourself, and you can, fill your head up with, amazing mantras and affirmations that get you excited and amped up. Yet, if you don't believe in the words that you're saying, if you haven't embodied the version of yourself that actually believes the words that you're saying are true, then it will be difficult to trust yourself. It will be difficult to make decisions that help you get to your next level faster in your business, where you believe that you are a person that can be seen as worthy of having the success that you want and of having the high quality people in your orbit that you want to serve, when you don't believe the words that you're saying are true. And I know that I didn't believe the words that I was saying was true. I would, be in the mirror saying the mantra, saying the affirmations, telling myself I'm a millionaire, telling myself that I serve amazing people that I'm excited to serve. And I wasn't the person that believed that the words I was saying was true. which is why it didn't manifest, which is why I took on a doomsday client. So, again, another verse from the Bible. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. So, do you actually believe in the words that you're saying are true? Because if you did, again, you wouldn't take on a doomsday client. So, I'm asking you again to shift from believing now. So we got into the believing. So are we the version of ourselves that believes what we're saying is true? I want you to shift that to knowing. So how do you have that internal shift of energy where you not only believe in the words that you're saying, but you know that the words that you're saying are true? I'm going to take you to an interview. So this is inspired by an interview that Carl Jung actually said. And I implemented it into one of the ways that I help you understand how to shift your energy. So it was inspired by Carl Jung. Carl Jung. Goodness, I always do that with his name. Either way, how do you know how to shift your energy from not just believing in the affirmations and mantras that you're saying are true, but actually knowing? So, when someone were to come up to you and say, "Hey, what's your name? Tell me your birthday. Tell me where you live." Would you say, "I believe my first name is, fill in the blank," right? I'll use myself as an example. I believe my first name is Radiance. Like if someone were to come up to me and tell me, what's your name, and I tell them I believe my first name is Radiance, they'd look at me like, "What, do you not know what your first name is? Do you not know?" Like they think maybe something was a little bit, off, right? So, or if someone were to ask me, "When's your birthday?" I believe my birthday is December 18, right? I believe it. I don't know. Do you see the difference in energy when you believe something versus when you know something? There's an absolute difference. So I want you to apply this concept to your mantra and affirmation. Perhaps you do both. Do you believe in the mantra? So use the example with the name as your barometer. So tell yourself, do you believe your first name is fill in the blank? Do you know your first name is fill in the blank? You'll feel that shift in energy. Use that with your mantra. I believe I can sign high quality leads. I can sign high quality people. I can work with high quality people versus I know I can work with high quality people. Where do you feel the resistance in your body? Do you feel it in your stomach? Do you feel it in your throat? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your head? Be very curious about where the resistance comes from. And then go a little bit deeper as to how you can start releasing that resistance and asking yourself, of course, more deeper questions. And these are things that we'll be talking about in the Reclaim Your Radiance workshop. So go ahead, again, sign up for the workshop. The link will be in the comments. So we start tomorrow. So make sure you sign in and get that workbook and register. So last point, and I want to just drive this home. So when you are in lack, when you're in scarcity and you're making decisions, and some of us have done this, no matter where we are in our financial journey. I want you to ask yourself, when you are making decisions based in lack, based off of what you feel like you don't have enough of, based off of feelings of scarcity, where you're looking around and you're like, "Well, I thought I would be here, but really I'm not, and I feel like I'm not where I'm supposed to be, so I'm in a place of scarcity and lack." I want you to ask yourself if you're holding on to an identity that doesn't serve you. Because when I was in that place of lack and I had that intuition tell me, that intuitive hit tell me that, hey, this person isn't for me. This person isn't someone I should be working with. And I still went against my intuition, and I still overrided my gut feelings. And I allowed logic to tell me that my bills needed to be paid more than I needed to make sure that I was emotionally safe. And yeah, I just can't believe I did that, looking back. Either way, I had to, now looking back, I'm knowing that what I did was I was feeling disconnected. I was in this in-between world of being in scarcity and in lack and becoming someone that wasn't. And I had held on to an identity and commitment to struggle, right? I had tied so much of who I was to being a struggling single mom that I had committed to what struggling single moms do, which was sometimes just do whatever they have to do in order to make sure that the bills are paid and that the kids are taken care of and that they're taken care of to the best of their ability, right? So in doing that, I had held on to patterns that were no longer serving me and could come with me to where my soul was nudging me to go. And in doing that, I had created an illusion of impossibility. And this is something that Penny Pierce talks about in her book Frequency. I carry that book with me everywhere. It just looks like a frayed piece of like whatever. I don't even like but I love that book. It has like so many just helpful tips that are applicable, to the real world. So she's really good at applying woo with practicality. Um, so that disconnection in and difference that you feel when you're not who you want to be yet, you're not who you aspire to be yet, you know that you can no longer be who you are, right? That in between, that disconnection, it can create an illusion of impossibility. You'll start telling yourself, hey, it's impossible for me to attract high quality people into my orbit. It's impossible for me to get paid the desired amount that you want to get paid. You'll tell yourself that there's all of these things wrong with you, and you'll start justifying why it's impossible for you to achieve that goal. And it will create a lack of trust in yourself, right? And your ability to make decisions. And it will cause you to attract the doomsday clients. And then you're wondering why you're repelling high quality people into your space. Again, I have been here. So I'm not speaking from a place where I haven't had this experience and haven't lived this experience myself. So ask yourself, are you holding on to an identity that no longer serves you? Are you allowing people to validate your worth versus knowing that your life force energy, your connection to God validates your worth? And so we said lack, identity, and are we allowing lack to determine your decisions? Those were the three main points that we talked about today in the live. So again, sign up for the Reclaim Your Radiance workshop. We start tomorrow, and the link will be in the comments, and replays will also be available. Now, fast forward, I'm here. I know how to say no to people that I don't want to work with, and I don't put myself in positions where I even allow, I'm still not financially where I would love to be, but I don't allow that to make my decisions anymore. I don't take on things that I know I'm not going to be nourished by, whether that be clients, whether that be opportunities. I know how to say no. So one of the things that you'll have to learn when you're getting to your next level and when you're learning to make decisions where you can trust yourself and have a degree of confidence and certainty is having the same level of confidence that you would say yes to opportunities applied to saying no to what doesn't serve you. Often we think that confidence means that we're going to take bigger risks and say yes to doing the big things that scare us. And that's absolutely true. However, it's also in learning to say no. And I think that's where a lot of the people pleasing, at least in myself, comes from as well, is not wanting to say no, feeling guilty for saying no, feeling guilty for imposing boundaries, feeling guilty for putting others behind me, putting me first, right? So learning to say no is just as important as learning to say yes to opportunities as well. Now, fast forward again, I have learned to trust myself. I've learned to trust my gut feelings. I've learned to trust my intuition when I see the red flags. And I want you to realize that you can do this too. You can trust yourself too. You can trust yourself to make decisions that help you get to your next level in your business faster too. And you can say no to doomsday clients with certainty that high quality people will come into your orbit too. So this is what we will be doing in the Reclaim Your Radiance workshop, again starting tomorrow. We'll be extracting the root cause of why you waver in making decisions so you can cut decision time by 40% at least. And we'll be helping you embody unwavering self-trust to become the version of yourself that trusts themselves to take action and to make decisions in any situation using my signature HEAL method. And we'll identify your specific pattern of self-sabotage. So I know I'm a people pleaser. That is absolutely why I self-sabotage. However, you may be a different form of self-saboteur. So we'll be discovering that. And this will help you catch yourself when you're getting in your own way in the moment. So you don't allow doubt and lack to guide your decisions. And after the workshop, so the workshop is 2 days only, you'll be able to cultivate a sense of joy and confidence and peace in where you are right now. And I feel like that's one of the most important things because we will project ourselves 5 years into the future. And we're like, okay, I'm going to be happy then. I'm going to be happy when I have this. I'm going to be able to have that relationship when I have this. And it's like, well, how do you know all of these other things won't pop up, right? There's often going to be some level of healing that you're going to encounter no matter how far along you are on your journey of success in your business. So it's best you might as well just start tackling them as they come up now so they don't become bigger problems that cause you to feel like you're moving backward instead of forward. So the workshop again is tomorrow. And we start at 11 a.m. PT. There will be replays available. So click on the link in my comments if you're on Facebook. And in my bio, yeah, I said in my comments on here, but in my bio as well on Instagram. And I will see you tomorrow. And I hope you have a beautiful evening or morning wherever you are in the world. And I send you so much love.